Isn't it strange? We want to improve, we want to chase the dreams, we want to become the version of ourselves that we have always imagined, and yet we ignore the very things that would make it real. Why? Because deep down we know that we aren't afraid of the failure, we are afraid of breaking our ego. And today I'm going to show you how the ego is stopping you from becoming the person that you have always dreamed of, and how would you break that cycle. Think of that one thing that you have always been avoiding. The pattern is similar. Your phone suddenly starts feeling important. You start craving coffee. You start adjusting the things that are put on the table. You start looking for videos for how to study rather than actually studying. We would label this as laziness. It isn't. It's ego protection. The ego protects the version inside your head, the perfect version. The one who never messes up, the one who never struggles, the one who never feels embarrassed. But the real version, the version you and I have to build, is shaky at the start, is imperfect at the start, is unpolished and exposed. So that being said, ego blocks the entrance. Not the journey, just the entrance. Avoidance is not fear of work, it's the fear of breaking the fantasy. If you watch people closely in a library, the ritual repeats itself. Hours pass, nothing changes. It's not because the task is hard, it's because beginning kills the imaginary version of yourself that you have been living on for several years. Everybody feels this. Most never notice. In the gym, I've seen people avoid lifting because the first rep exposes their weaknesses. On the basketball court, everybody wants to be a pro shooter. But what they don't want is those 100 imperfect shots which would ultimately lead to that one perfect shot. In building inventions, the first prototype is always ugly, is always embarrassing, is always a failure, until it isn't. These are all the different domains, all the different worlds, but all having the same ego pattern. You don't escape this with motivation or discipline or a perfect routine. You escape it by breaking the ego's power at the exact point it tries to stop you. A calm, quiet, controlled fracture. And this is what I call the ego surveillance protocol. It has 4 major steps, and let me show you how. Initially, what we had was ego surveillance protocol. Later on, when I added an action layer, it came out to be ego intercept system. So what is ego intercept system? It has 4 major parts: signal spike, story cut, metric override, and silent continue. So when you look at them, step 1, the signal spike. The first thing I watch is for my reaction. If feedback annoys me, if comparison hurts, if numbers pisses me off, I know something's up. That emotional spike. When there's an emotional spike, that is my cue. Right after, when I see the emotional spike, I go if I'm supporting it with a narrative, if I'm supporting it with a story, if narrative is existing, then you don't trust yourself. Don't trust it. Because you're making up stories to justify that emotional spike. So what you do instead? You go for the metric override. What is exactly metric override? I have to explain you it in detail. Suppose you're going to gym. What's the first thing which you will be looking at to measure if you're going in the right direction or if you're making progress or not? For me, it would be progressive overload plus the form. If your form is good, you understand the metric that is supporting the gym. Similarly, for content creation, it's SEO, CTR, and the most important thing is value proposition. Similarly, for basketball, it would be shooting, if you're dribbling right or not. There are various metrics in different places. For hackathons, it would be if the prototype is actually feasible in real life or not. So when you understand what the metric is controlling, what you have to control in that specific thing, you silently continue. What do I mean by that? No explaining, no defending, no announcing. I just fix things and keep going on. That's it. When ego reacts, I stop thinking. I understand what are the metrics that I need to focus on. I silently solve them. And that's the whole protocol. So to put it plainly, that you will understand and remember it for long term, it's whenever you see an emotional spike that is stopping you from doing a task, that there's a narrative behind it. You are building up stories to support that fact. You just stop trusting yourself. You understand that that specific skill or task would have a metric over it. So you just focus on that metric, solve it, and keep ego out of the whole equation. The moment you act, even imperfectly, ego loses authority. You feel the shift instantly. No more avoidance, no more noise, no more imaginary pressure. Just clarity, neutrality, control. You don't transform by protecting the fantasy, you transform by breaking it. Stop protecting the person you imagine and start building the person you are always afraid to become. Documenter, where I work in silence so that you and I could build in public.